I want to bring in defense attorney Misty Marris and former New York City Judge Judge Grasso. They're both with us today. I don't even know if there's a question here, but I just want to say the whole non sequitur issue of Trump saying that migrants are crossing the border with barbecue grills to be a part of an army. I mean, just this whole weirdness.
And which, of course, has nothing to do at all.
I mean, unless they're coming in to be an army of grill masters or something. But I mean, these issues matter, and how you talk about people and how you talk about a humanitarian crisis. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of, I'm still processing that. But Misty, let's talk about what Trump said today at the speech when he talked about his lawyer and they call him a fixer, but he's not my fixer. There are gag orders in effect, and what do you see there?
Well, first of all, the gag order says you can't talk about witnesses in the case. So there were certainly potential violations to the extent he was talking about witnesses who testified. Something I thought was really, really interesting is that he talked about his lawyers and not being happy with them. And it's something we've spoken about throughout the whole trial, that actually it seemed like some of the arguments that were raised by his defense team were likely at his behest, that he wanted to say, I never had this affair with Stormy Daniels, which was really not relevant to the legal aspects of the case, or even having Robert Costello testify, which ended up being a bit disastrous for the defense. Those all seemed like they were maybe driven by the client. So I found it interesting that he said, I don't like the way my lawyers were talking about this and the legal issues, which again,
by the
that's
way,
what your lawyer's supposed to do.
His lawyer, Todd Blanche, said yesterday after the verdict that Donald Trump was very involved in his defense.
Right. Every decision was taken together.
Every decision was made together. Judge Grasso, really great to have you here.
Yeah, great to be with you.
You know, one of the things Katie Tur brought up, I'll ask you about, which is, as we saw Trump at this conference of sorts, he was not remorseful at all. He was combative about all of this. What does the judge do with that when it comes to sentencing?
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Trump was really his own worst enemy as far as that one, because right now the Department of Probation is working on a pre-sentencing report that the judge must consider in terms of whether he's going to decide to impose jail. He could impose jail. It's up to 1 1/3 to 4 years, or no jail, or probation, some combination thereof. So one of the main things a judge looks for is you want to see if there's some remorse, some contrition, some repentance. We saw the exact opposite. So I think Trump did tremendous, tremendous harm to himself there. With the gag order, you know, when I was in, I was in court every day. I was actually, and this is not a criticism of Judge Merchan, because he just had so many balls coming at him simultaneously. But I was sitting there listening. I had my ear tuned if he was going to remind Trump about the gag order, to the extent now the trial phase is over and now we're going into a new phase, the sentencing phase. Because one of the main purposes of that gag order, as it pertained to witnesses, Michael Cohen in particular, is that they would not be intimidated in the way that would impact their ability to testify and participate in the case. So that part of the case is passed. So to the extent the judge really wanted to hold Donald Trump accountable for gag order violations like that at this time, I think it probably would have been good to remind him, and I didn't hear that happen. But the business about basically going on and on about not accepting any responsibility for anything, that's serious. The other thing that I want to point out quickly, which was mentioned by one of the correspondents you were talking to, the Sandoval issue, the pretrial issue, this was a very tight and limited. It was only within the last 2 years, you know, on specific matters pertaining to the E. Jean Carroll case, to the Trump Organization case. I was listening, you know, as I was waiting to come on. Trump was saying they could go after my entire life. That's a lie. That's not true. Just to say that for your record.
And we appreciate that fact check. That's important. Facts first here. Katie Fang, Tim Miller, Misty Marris, former Judge Judge Grasso. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for your analysis and joining us.